before we get into announcements, as you guys see, Jim and Kathy Stegman are joining us. And I asked them a couple of weeks ago if they would, knowing that they're in transition, if they would come and greet Lakeview. I know many of you have spent a lot of time with them and love them. And I also got to spend some time personally with Jim back before COVID hit. So we actually met in person. Anyways, I would love for them to share what life has been like for them in 2020 and what God has in store for them next.
Well, we've been spending a lot of quality time together.
Yeah.
And with our backyard, that's and a lot of the things that we, of course, like all of you normally do are not available to us. So we've had a lot of, you might say, changes. And one of the changes was that we decided that we wanted to move closer to our daughter and her family who live in Lakewood. And so we've been looking for a place to live down there. And of course, the market's been crazy. So it seemed more reasonable to sell our house here and then wait to buy another place till later when the market's a little different. So we're planning on renting down there. But the upshot of that is at the end of this week, we're essentially homeless. Homeless in the sense that we don't have a place because our home is sold and we're leaving. But we have friends in Eastern Washington and they have a condo in
Crescent
Bar by Quincy that we're going to stay in for a while till we kind of figure things out and strategize our next move. So that's kind of the up-to-date thing. That's as much as we know at this point. And life is crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Kathy,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Kathy, any words you want to add to that?
Yeah, just the last bit there, strategizing our next move. I feel like we've been strategizing and it's been thwarted, and we strategize and it's thwarted. And so it doesn't feel as much like strategizing to me as it does to praying and listening and knocking and waiting and, rinse and repeat. So, so that's okay because it certainly is exercising our trust muscle, and it's generating some very good conversations about our values and our goals and desires and this next season of life and what it means to let go and let go and let go. And I have come to recognize that over the last few years as a spiritual discipline, letting go. So that's part of what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's so good. I forgot who the author was who said, man makes plans and God laughs. And so this year for all of us, as you said, is a year of us practicing our trust in him and practicing letting go of our desires and our plans and making room for what God is doing. And so thank you. And any other final words of encouragement you want to share?
Well, please know that we have not forgotten you, and you've been in our thoughts and prayers often. And of course, our intent was at some point to come back and reconnect, but with the COVID virus interrupting all of our lives, that just hasn't been possible. So it's not because the distance is not because we haven't thought and prayed for you, and continue to value the time we've had together and believe that not only was God in that, but he just blessed it and blessed us because of it. So that's our message we want you to carry, is that you're in our hearts still, and we'll always have this connection.
Thank you.
I think
Go
I'll
ahead.
add a bit to that, if I might. I have not been hearing what you've been preaching every week, but Psalms and today's Psalm, I'm sure you've been talking about lament, maybe among other things. And we're all probably feeling more of a pull or need to lament in these times for various reasons. And one of the things that has been standing out to me over the last few months is the need to hold the tension. And as you know, so many of the Psalms, you start with lament. Here's these nasty circumstances, and here's how crummy I feel about the whole thing. And where in the world are you, God? And then David reminds himself of, or the psalmist reminds himself of the truth and says, and so therefore I will, do this. So I it's so easy for us to go one way or the other, but holding that tension of disappointment and hope and confusion and truth, clarity is what we're called to, really. So there's my word of encouragement. Just hang in there, holding the tension, remembering that God goes before us and holding the tension of redemption that has been already bought and provided for us, and yet knowing and being with us in this messy middle. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pastor Jim and Kathy, and thank you for the many, many months that you guys were interim pastors here prior to us arriving. I know the Lakeview folks love you guys and have spoken highly of you guys, and we appreciate you coming and filling us in on what life has in store for you guys. And as you said, Jim, I'm going to take you up. Once you guys get settled down there, we would love for you to come back and preach the word and share with us. So we'll keep in communication of when that will happen.